Hi again, guys, and welcome to another. Well, this is another live play. So today I've been farming credits lately, so I'll be playing mostly tier 8 premiums, and we're gonna start with one of probably the better ones to come out. In fact, yes, it's one of the best ones to come out in the last few months, and this thing is utterly ridiculous, in my opinion. Essentially, what you've got is a tier 8 equivalent. Well, it's basically the IS-7 hull at tier 8, except the upper plate's better and the lower plate is very slightly worse. The turret is basically an upgraded IS-6. Yeah, the sides are more angled, better. Oh, it's thicker. The back's angled better. The cupolas are the same as the IS-6, if not. Actually, no, they're about the same. So yeah. Except this thing is better than the IS-6 in pretty much every way. It gets up to its top speed quicker, or at least it feels like it does. The armor's better, of course. The gun is way better. Like, this gun is a 440 alpha gun at tier 8. This is basically a tier 8 equivalent of the gun that you get on the tier 9 T10 in the IS line. It's a tier 8 version of the. Well, that's the same gun is on the ST1 as well as the IS4, and also it's the top 122mm gun on the SU101, but it's not very good on the SU101, so no one really cares about that thing. So, what have you got? You've got 220 something pen, 225 in fact, and 265 with premium, 440 alpha, 12-second reload with Brothers in Arms and food, and a gun rammer. So this makes this tank have a better effective DPM. This is something I've taken to using lately. It's a term that I've been using myself. A better effective DPM, which is the kind of damage that you'll put out on average every minute, as long as your pen can actually be enough to go through the targets you shoot at. So, for example, like that T10 there, the IS-6 would actually have trouble with. This thing, not so much. As you can see, right through his front, no problem whatsoever. Obviously, this thing does have a longer reload. Also, that was a ridiculous pen from the T10. That went right through one of the most heavily armored parts of this tank. As you can see, right through the turret cheek. That is a next to impossible shot to get, so he got really lucky. That's like 1 in a million shot that he got. Unfortunately for him, he's on pretty much 0 health compared to us now. He's on 1 shot pretty much. That's if we low roll. And now he's firing premium because he just can't be bothered aiming anymore. And he's on low health, so he may be a little bit panicky. Meanwhile, the Emil there is not really in a useful position. He is blocking my shot on the T-34 though, which is a bit annoying. But what can you do? These things happen. Although the Emil does have to deal with a T-55A. Well, is it a T-55A? Yes. Firing heat right next to me. Unfortunately for us, we've been splashed by Arty. Didn't do any damage to us, but it did to the IS-3. Not very much though, all in all. But we've got a fairly dominant position here. We can literally just wait until the Pershing and the 2 Scorpions push forward there. Now that the T-34 is stunned and tracked, we can actually just press W here, and this is game over for these 3 here. 4 in fact, because the T-10's there as well, but he's a one-shot and he just feeds himself to the Scorpions. So, what's my opinion on this thing, considering how much better it is compared to the IS-6? This thing, I think, should have been, like, with some very minor buffs, should have been the tier 10 reward tank in place of the Object 260. The gun, if they kept it as premium APCR and AP standard, would still be better than the 260. As long as they gave it, you know, tier 10 pen. We're just gonna kill. Oh, I was auto-aimed on the T-25 pilot. Doesn't really matter though, the Emil's gonna die. eventually as well. T-55A is going to finish him off. Now the enemy team do have some TDs, so we're going to be a little cautious as we round that corner. We're not going to go around that way because we don't really want to get shot in the face by 2 Scorpions, a Ferdinand, and possibly the YAG-88. The YAG-88 isn't a big threat to this tank because that gun it's the long 88, so it's not particularly good versus this tank. And as you can see, we've done nothing really special. The only particularly special thing was getting penned right there. That's right on the turret cheek, and that's like a one. That is, as I said, a 1 in a million shot. So the T10 got incredibly lucky, especially at that range. But yeah, this thing is just a W key machine, basically. Just press W and have fun. It also makes pretty good credits, so there's that as well. We're going to ignore the FCM and the first Scorpion G. We're going to go after the second one because he's on lower health. But yeah, this thing's ridiculous. Like, oh, let's go to AFK. Well, we're going to farm him first. And we tracked with an auto-aimed shot because Russia, bitches. Also, killing him before he wakes up is pretty important. Like, if he were to have woken up, like, in the middle of that, he might have been able to do something. But he didn't, so we killed him. This IS-3A needs to distract the FCM while we try and deal with this Scorpion. Or we could kill the FCM. We can also wait for the Pershing and the T-55A to flank around, which is probably the better option. There's no need to really kind of rush here. I mean, we've already W-keyed into the perfect position, basically. For our team, at least. And we can sort of creep forward. The FCM's not a huge threat in terms of the gun it's got. The Scorpions, however, would have been if they'd, you know, I've been able to do anything there. And hello, FCM. Welcome to power creep. Because this thing is pure power creep. It's nothing but, like, what can this guy do to me? Not very much. He has to fire premium, by the way. Let's just ram him a little bit, and then put one into his side, we high roll, and we just, yeah. He would not have killed us in one shot there, and we had backup, so we were not worried in the slightest. Meanwhile, the arty is there, so we're going to go after him. We're going to not cap, because capping is for losers. And yes, it is. Capping just results in less XP for everyone in the match. Though we might not get another shot here, well, maybe at the Type 4 Heavy, it might not pen him because it's a Type 4 Heavy, but, you know, we can always hope. And we don't because the prod got him. But, you know, that was a neat 4.7k combined, so I'll take that match. Very, very quick one as well, actually, there. And that got me my first mark of excellence. Nice meme. This tank is actually not that easy to get gun marks on. It's easy to do damage in. Gun marks, that's another matter. Although that was a very, very, very profitable match as well. We didn't even have to use any of our consumables other than the food, so pretty nice. But yeah, you can see what happens when you get into a match where people just W key along with you, because people will be so focused on this thing that they'll ignore the others, and then the others will shoot them in the face. This thing is absolutely ridiculous. Let me show you some of the stats here. So, this is with, obviously, my crew skills. I've got my T10 crew in here right now. T10 is actually my favourite tier 9 at the moment. Out of the two that I have, I don't have many. I've mostly been trying to 3-mark tanks that I've just been grinding through, such as the T43, the KV3, and a couple of others. KV1S I've actually gone back to recently to try and 3-mark, so there's that as well. But at the moment, I'm kind of just taking it easy, 3-marking tanks as I go, and just grinding credits whenever I need to, because 3-marking does often involve quite a lot of gold spam. It's a little bit credit intensive, but then you've got tanks like this that you just press W key, and it's pretty much game over as long as your team follows you. So this thing is the typical Russian heavy tank cloaking device. Mobility, it's not bad for a heavy, 13.44 power to weight. That's with equipment. And 35 kilometer an hour top speed isn't too bad. About the same as the IS-3 and the IS-3A. Well, actually, no, the IS-3A's is higher. It's 40 kilometers an hour, even though it'll probably never get to that speed unless you've got a huge straight line on flat ground. So, on paper, the armor on this thing seems kind of average. It's anything but average. It's far beyond that. This upper plate, it's 130 millimeters thick. It's a pike nose shape, and look at the angle on that. The lower plate's 140 millimeters thick, and still very well angled. Look at the angle on that. That's actually fairly steep. So if you're unangled, they still need about 220-ish pen to go through your lower plate if they're on flat ground with you. If you're angled like this, however, they need about 240, 250 plus. If you're angled like this, and if you're around a corner, then they can shoot you through here. They can shoot you through the drive wheel, but if the drive wheel is still around the corner, and they can only see the lower plate, this is probably going to bounce most tanks, especially if it's like kind of that angle versus some taller tanks like the T-34. So bear that in mind. Also, facehugging is actually not a bad idea in this thing, especially against tanks that are about the same height as you, and maybe even lower ones. There are indeed tanks that are small, well, not as tall as this, looking at things like the Leopard 1, for example. It's about the same height, maybe a little bit lower, but doesn't have that great gun elevation. Now, I mentioned gun elevation because if you're a tank that's about the same height as this, you need a decent amount still to even hit the cupolas. If you're being face-hugged by one of these, and if you're being face-hugged by one of these, then chances are that he's in your side and he's probably not going to miss or bounce. So, unless you're on full health and he's not, then you're probably gonna die. Unless you've got some way of completely out DPMing him. If he's on full health and you're on full health, this guy will probably win. That's, like, it can do that to tier 10s as well. It's how ridiculous this thing is. Like, the upper plate, if angled like this, that cannot be penned by even a Jagdpanzer firing heat. That'll just bounce. And if it, like, hiding this lower plate's not even that difficult. Like, you'll see so many matches where you're in, like, you can get into positions where you can just kind of, you know, just chill with your lower plate hidden, and it's just kind of like, whatever. Like, what can they do? Like, at medium to long range, this thing is next to indestructible if the lower plate's hidden. It's absolutely bonkers. And then hitting things for 440 at tier 8 is absolutely insanely good. Like, you're looking at, like, at least as far as heavy tanks is concerned, like, the only other tank so far that I've seen that's a heavy tank that hits for 440 average at tier 8 is the VK100, and even then, that's not as good a tank as this, 'cause it's slow. Sure, the armor overall is pretty effective, but it's difficult. Unless it's a city map, the VK can't really use its armor 100% effectively. This thing, however, doesn't really care what kind of map it's on. And not only that, this tank, it can actually turn to, like, keep its armor facing someone. It doesn't have a slow turning circle. Look at that. Like, snaking left and right. It's not bad for a heavy tank. Anyway, on Swamp here, we're going up north because north flank is actually objectively better. Do we have a shot at the CDC? No, he's just got himself into cover. So, a bit unfortunate there, but he's now got to deal with a T-49 and a friendly AMX CDC. So, he's going to have fun with that. And if the T-49 has either HE or the derp gun, that T-49's not going to, well, sorry, CDC is not going to be particularly happy. Although, that said, there's a T-54 lightweight there as well, but the 113 has noticed this and is also going in as well to finish those two off. Meanwhile, the enemy T-49 is low health. He's not going to have a good time, and we're just going to W key, and the enemy team are not going to be happy at all. Because that's all this thing is, it's a W key machine. Meanwhile, our AT-15 is saying, spot noob. Clearly not happy with our light tanks. Oh, hello T-54. He had a fun match, as you can see. T-49 is splashing us with HE, but we're not really going to care about him. He's over there. He's like in the bushes way at the back there. He's run a long, long way. Meanwhile, our VK-4502B is complaining about no help. When he went down probably the worst flank on this map. The reason for that is going this way lets the campers here shoot you in the face. And you will not have a good time. Hello E50. Welcome to Power Creep. Like this thing, as you can see, like that E50M did not have much of a shot at me. And then he was showing his side, so I just blatted him for 430. And 430 is a low roll for this thing. Because it's 440 alpha. There's a Borsig over there. Like, that trade with the E50, I would have won any day. Now that Borsig's in a really bad position because he's got a hull down 113 and a hull down object 252U to deal with. So, yeah, he's backing off, and quite rightly so. Because, yeah, this thing is not fun to deal with, and the E50's dead. So now I'm going to turn around a little bit. Let's see if I can finish off the Borsig actually. Oh, okay. That was AP right through my lower... That was through my lower plate, so that was a little bit of a high roll on pen for him actually. Because that's 215mm of pen on the 150mm gun that thing gets. So he had to have high rolled like an absolute motherfucker. Unfortunately, he is still alive, so that's actually quite a bit of a threat for us. And if he loads heat, then it's just like GG, he's going to pen my lower plate every time. Because that's over 300mm of pen that way. However, that said, he is being pinned down, and he's now dead, so, you know, feels bad. You know, he had a fun game, he shot me once, and that was it. Skoda T50 is over there, the 113 is going after him along with the T54 lightweight. And the CDC. Meanwhile, the T49 has been finished off, so now I don't have to worry about HE from him. That said, the OHO and the other T49 could do something, and the Skoda T50 just wanted to commit suicide there, so we obliged him. I do still have another T49. He's over with the OHO and the IS-3. But right now, we're going to deal with the 215B and the STRV-103 here. Along with this good bro from Noxus. There we go. It's our third kill. He's going to finish off the 215B. Yeah. Like, the Centurion Action 10 has the gun handling over this, so he was always going to get that shot, even though I had the reload. And now the T49's dead, so we can just proceed to just go up here. The OHO is on reload, so we're just gonna... Oh. Well, we did aim for one of the mini turrets, but unfortunately we didn't get it. And the IS-3 bounces off our upper plate. And that's the game. As you can see, all we had to do was just W key round the north flank that match. That was fairly simple. And we got second on the team in terms of XP. We actually came third in terms of damage on our team. Last power here from Nox is obviously doing the most. But we were not far off in XP. We were only 5 XP away, which was pretty nice. We also completely, you know, fucked up the E50M. We damaged his turret and his ammo rack, so, you know, fun for him. And the T54 lightweight, we made his tracks yellow somehow instead of just completely tracking him outright, which was weird. Like, the enemy Bat Chat could have done a lot more that match as well. He was sniping quite a lot, which is, you know, how he got the Tank Sniper medal. He also made a nice 44,000 credits that match. So as you can see, pretty nice profitability on this thing. And it's just kind of like, if you don't want to have to think that much and you want to just kind of relax a bit, this is pretty much the ultimate tank for that. This match could be awkward though. If the Emils go here, it's going to be difficult for me to deal with them because they're going to be hull down, and it's going to be difficult for me to, you know, do anything to them at all because the hull on those things is very, very small. That said, it would be on flat ground, so their turret wouldn't be at maximum effectiveness, so I could potentially pen it with APCR. The other possibility is that it's the T26E5 that goes here, and if he's hull down, it's still pretty difficult to pen him, though I do have the option of aiming for the cupola and hoping it hits a little bit below it. That's kind of, it's like a little kind of step. If you look at the turret on the T26E5, you've got the cupola, then a little bit towards the front and down you've got a little step, and that's where you can aim and potentially pen. The other issues could be the IS-3s, and so obviously if they're hull down, they're going to be annoying as shit because they're hull down IS-3s. What does get spotted down there though for some reason is a T-44. Now that thing's not very good hull down at all. Now that is a super Pershing, so, and that's all their heavies. Except, well, the IS-3s being a little bit overzealous, you might say. Hello, Oho, I'm just going to shoot you in the side. Hello, sir. Now, the Oho isn't that big a problem, because I can pen his mini turrets with standard ammo. Frontally, of course. Meanwhile, this Indian Panzer is really, really in the way. Unfortunately, got a little unlucky with that shot on the Oho. It went a little bit far to the left. As you can see, it hit just below where we needed to. That one, though, went exactly where we needed it to. But as you can see, our armor is holding up so far. We are still hull down. We do have this little bit of dirt here to protect us. And those guys are stuck. They don't really want to push us at all. And as you can see, the T-28 Prot cupolas are a nice juicy target for us at this range. At long range, they maybe wouldn't be. At this range, however, they are quite tasty. Now, the accuracy on this gun is not particularly amazing, but it's enough at this range. This kind of range is where you kind of want to be using it. So now they're really being pressured by our Patriot here, and he's just killed the Prot. So we're going to advance. We need to get rid of this dude right here. And, well, we blast him in the face for 489, because, you know, 440 alpha. And then he bounces off of us, because he's only got 215 pen with standard ammo, which is one of the, well, it only gets two different kinds of shot, and it's either HE or AP with 215 millimeters of pen, which is not very fun for him, as you can imagine. Now that's a bit awkward there. The IS-3 being there is a little bit of a problem. He's just been arted though, and we do get a nice juicy high roll into his face. The other problem here though is the Super Pershing has decided to push. Although that's not a huge problem, as we've now tracked him, we're angled, he's firing HE, and well, he's not really going to kill us very quickly with HE. And he's a one-shot for us if, well, no, actually no, he's not. But, well, we got unlucky there and we bounced off the side instead of hitting the turret. We did want to hit the turret, but we didn't get it, sadly. But we're going to get it now, because, you know, side armor, what's it for? Meanwhile, that IS-3 is having some problems. We've also got the T-44 just there. He's not really going to be able to do very much right now. I'm just going to check on the other Super Pershing, see what he's doing. We might be able to spot him there. We don't. It was the M4 Ravioli who kills him. The other IS-3 is still alive. There he is. But he's not really wanting to do very much against that Scorpion, so we're going to take that opportunity to just press W key on this poor T-44 right here. The enemy team have also lost the hill, so, you know, This is pretty much game over for the enemy team. There's not really much they can do right now, and this guy's a one-shot for us. But doesn't matter because the Scorpion just steals it away from us. Now this T-26 E5 can't really do much to us without my team killing him. So, you know, feels bad for him. We're already at 3k damage though, just over 700 assistance. Everything left is a one-shot for us apart from the Lorraine. The STA either has to run or die. He's choosing the latter. I really want to get the kill on the artillery as a little bit of revenge for him shooting us, but, you know, this is not a bad result. I'm quite happy with it. We basically just played hull down Russian heavy tank, and we won because we're a Russian heavy tank. We're not going to get the kill on the arty, sadly, but... Or maybe... No. I was hoping that I would get the shot before the Scorpion, but unfortunately, no. So I'm just going to play one more match for this video. And I'm guessing you guys are seeing just how good this thing is. That was 3k damage. I didn't use my consumables. Other than the food, of course. And that's 60k profit. So when you get a match where you do damage in this thing, you make a lot of credits, and there will be a lot of matches where you do damage in this thing. And it's, as you can see, not a bad crew trainer, because this guy was at about maybe 15%, and I've only done 3 matches and we've gone up by 15%, and this is the 4th crew skill. We do have accelerate crew training on as well, so that does mean that he's been getting a bit of a bonus. But even then, that's pretty nice, I would say. And again, this is pretty good matchmaking here overall. Sure, the enemy team have a Type 4 Heavy, a Conway, and 2 T-30s, but, you know, the Type 4 is incredibly slow. It's probably going to be going down this side, and if he gets caught out of position by this thing, he's not going to be happy. Because if this thing gets the side of a Type 4, the Type 4 is not going to have a good time, especially up close. Because this thing outmaneuvers the Type 4, this thing out-reloads the Type 4, and especially with the derp gun, the Type 4, if he misses, then he's going to get shot twice. And if the 252, in this case me, if I have anyone supporting me against Type 4, then, well, there's not really any chance of him surviving. That's, you know, unless I'm a one-shot and he just blasts me in the face with HE, but, you know, those are the chances you take when you're fighting a Type 4 Heavy. In other news, I should probably do a proper, like, I was thinking of doing a proper tutorial thing for any new players out there, or maybe even people who are wanting to pick up maybe a thing or two that they might have missed that I've spotted that they can use to put into their own playstyle. But, you know, we shall see if people are interested in that. And then maybe get my thoughts on how to play different tanks, different positions on maps, that sort of thing. So it's always, like, I always find that if to get a different viewpoint from another player is actually really, really helpful. Like, regardless of how good they are, to get their viewpoint actually gets you an idea of how, like, the whole player base plays. So, you know, that's quite useful in my opinion. Sometimes, of course, you can work out how people play just from watching them without them having to actually commentate on it, but sometimes you might miss a couple of nuances here and there if it's just the gameplay, where you might be wondering why are they doing this, and what's the thought process behind it. And if you learn the thought process behind something, then you can learn that maybe to use it in your own playstyle a bit better, if it's something that you actually want to take and adapt for your own use. Anyway, we've got a bit of a good position here, because we can see the T-30, and we're going to focus him over the Super Pershing because the T-30 is a bigger threat. That's the 155mm gun with 750 alpha, so of course we need to take that down pretty quickly. So it does look like the enemy team are overrunning the castle at the moment, so we're going to try and get into a position where we can maybe shoot some of the enemies that are in the castle, like that Super Pershing. Unfortunately, he did go down the inside slope, so he's pretty safe there for the moment. T-34 is behind a house, so we can't really do much to him. There is an Emil 1 somewhere around here, but unfortunately I think he's still covered by another house. The CDC has moved over to that side as well. Okay, the T-30 has moved up, but we can now get ourselves into a position where we can shoot things in the side. That's a building, that's not the T-30. Still the building. Of course we are in spotting range here, but we can stay hull down pretty well. And now that WZ is a nice tasty shot for us. Unfortunately only tracking, that one went a bit high, but it did allow a teammate to get a shot. And it lets us reload and put one into him again. Unless he had his repair kit just then. Or he might have had just enough, like just a good enough crew, barely, to repair in time. Fortunately, we're not hull down here. But we can maybe side scrape out a bit and see if we can shoot one of his cupolas off. Unfortunately, somehow he gets one into ours, which is actually pretty surprising because he has bigger cupolas than we do. The T-30, on the other hand, is just completely ignoring the fact that we're here, and so we're going to shoot him in the side for 500 and, well, almost 500 rather. But that was quite surprising that the WZ managed to snipe one of my cupolas at that range. That guy had some impressive luck right there. And it was luck, because that's about 0.44 accuracy on that thing at 100 meters. And that's not particularly good. Now then, there's the Type 4. He is side on to us, but we still got unlucky with that shot. I think we do need to load APCR for that guy. I think he does have the derp as well, by the looks of things. So we're going to pull a little bit back so we can shoot the T-30 instead, because he's caught out of position. He's not hull down, but, you know, human error. I end up donking the shot. Oh, he doesn't have the derp. Okay, that makes it a little easier to deal with him. Also, what we're doing here, we're spotting for our teammates. We got a bit unlucky with that shot on the 112, but that's okay. We can spot for our Jagdtiger. Now, are we going to get a shot on the side of the Type? Yep. Hello, sir. And of course we bounce, because it's a Type 4 Heavy. Unangled. But, of course, our Jagdtiger is around to help us out. Yeah, 112, you're not really going to have a good chance of penning. And our Jagdtiger once again helping us out there with the 112, who is hull down. Now, what's the T-30 doing? He's trying to move around. We're going to shoot him in the face for it. We're also going to track him. So he's been forced to repair. He is trying to flank around us, but he's not in a good position to do so, because if he keeps poking, he's going to get shot by the Jagdtiger. We know he's behind that building. He's not really going to be able to move from there very much. Now, Type 4, once again, side on, but unfortunately I don't have the shot on him there. Basically, it's me and this Jagdtiger against the world at the moment, because everyone else has just died on every other flank. So, yeah, unfortunately, it's just us. Just me and the Jagdtiger. So this is not going to be a very profitable match, unfortunately, because, you know, life is hard. I'm also really surprised that that T-30 had a shot on us, because, yeah. Also, annoyingly, fire when undamaged module. Yeah, my fuel tank had not been actually damaged before that shot, but, you know, insta-fires are good for a game, clearly. Clearly, that one shot should set you on fire, instead of, you know, multiple. So right now we're taking out the Patriot. This is another very good medium, well, I say medium tank. It's a heavy tank, according to World of Tanks, but it plays more like a medium. It's got pretty decent upper plate. The lower plate's not so great, but you can hide it pretty easily. It's pretty small. The upper plate is pretty decent. It's nothing special, but if you're poking over a ridge line, then it's gonna be pretty good. The turret as well, pretty strong. Not quite T-32 levels of strong, but it will still shrug off most things that it meets. There are some weak spots. I have been penned this little, if I can zoom in a bit, where these little rivets are, I've been penned there. I've been also penned, like, this little ridge here, where this little viewport is. You can get penned there super easy. I've been penned there by defenders with standard ammo, even at range. So, keep an eye out for that. But generally, this turret is pretty solid. And this is not a bad map for this tank either, because I can take this thing up to here and then be hull down shooting people who try and cross there. And our RU-251 has apparently just started playing the new patch. Well, the current patch, rather. Because he was just saying about the stun mechanic and tier 10 lights, which he must have just come back to the game. So he'll be getting used to all of those. And our RU-251 is already blue. Somehow. Even though he's not done any team damage. I'm not going to kill him though, because that was quite clearly an accident. I'm going to let the 113 go forward, and then see if these guys try and poke against him, I can shoot them in the face. The Emil 2 is of course a problem because of the gun depression on that thing, but, you know, we can deal with it. Meanwhile, other heavies are getting feasted on by the IS-7. Okay, the Emil's actually not doing anything about the 113, which means the 113's actually pretty free to shoot people in the face. We can actually start to put some pressure on the enemy tanks as well. We're going to help this 113 out a little bit. The enemy team only have one TD. We don't know where he is, but there's probably a good chance he'll be exactly where the TDs usually go, which is right there. That's the standard TD spot. It is an ISU, so we do have to kind of be careful. But, you know, we can try and put some shots into him. Oh, he's not even there. Okay, so basically the ISU has forsaken his team. Now this is a little awkward. This number of heavies is a bit of a problem, but we can deal with it. RTA is gonna irritate us a little bit here. He did splashes. Didn't do much in the way of damage. Oh, fuck. That was not as much damage as I expected. But now we just gotta gang up on this guy and finish him off quickly. And there he goes. And now we can stay hull down behind the wreckage. And we can shoot this 140. As you can see, the armor on the turret is pretty nice. We do have the cupola, of course, and you can see the little pen marker on the little ridge there where the 140 did in fact pen our turret. The ISU just fired, so we can take our opportunity to get rid of him. We can actually maybe push here with the 113's help. I'm basically being a heavy tank for our 113 here, by the way. The T-34 has most likely reloaded. We are in the better position in terms of how our team are doing in comparison to the enemy team. We're We're going to see if we can finish off that Emil. Doesn't matter, the M449 managed just fine. And we've had people flank around, now these two are toast. Like, there's nothing these guys can do. Like, they're just dead. The IS-7's gonna die to the 140, but it's too late. I got a little unlucky there. I didn't quite get hull down in time. That was not a good match for me. You know, I'm going to play one more in the 252. I know I said I was going to make it the last one, but it wasn't a particularly good match at all. And we got set on fire, so we actually didn't make any credits. And I would rather make some credits on a last match, so, you know, just saying. Just a thought. Anyway, this match should be pretty neat. If our WZ-120s both go down this way, which is exactly where I'm going to go, by the way. There's no way I'm going to go down this flank when there's a Moisen in the match. This guy right here. Basically a tier 9 mouse, so I'd rather not fight that one-on-one. Which would most likely be the case, because they've got more heavies than us. They've got the Moisen, the T10, the two AMX M449s, and the VK45 O2A. We've got myself, Defender, where is he? He's lurking somewhere. There he is. And we have got the... where is it? The T-32. Luckily, however, we're actually going to be going down the more useful flank, which is, of course, this one. Why is it the more useful flank? Well, you've got the better positions to defend the cap from on either side. You can have people stay hull down along this ridge when defending this cap, and you can do the same from this ridge, defending the cap that I spawned on. Fortunately, this defender is also a little bit in our way, but we're just going to have to let him go. The T-32 is actually also more useful on this flank than on the other one, because he can stay hull down in more positions on this side. Unfortunately for us, the Pershing is taking the spot that I was going to take. And the T-32 is also kind of in the way. T-32 got really lucky with that shot, actually. I'm just going to duck down into here. And we're just going to W key. Because that's what this thing does. The Scorpion making it painfully obvious that we have to win this flank quickly. But, you know, it's not like it's hard to actually see that that's what we have to do. But the Scorpion G is probably not going to be very useful this match because, well, kind of players that I've been getting my teams lately, not many have been actually useful. And we low roll on that guy, and we bounce the T-49 because go fuck yourself, T-49. You're fighting a defender, not another light tank. That, however, is another matter. That's an ISU. Unfortunately for him, he's not in a good position. At all. And he's outnumbered. A little bit outgunned. Well, not really outgunned, but definitely outnumbered. And in the wrong position. So, you know. We missed the lower plate on that guy. There's the Udez. Trying to be a mountain goat as usual. We got the spotting on him as well, which is neat. T-49 is still trying to shoot us in the face, but unfortunately for him, Russian faces are stronger. ISU's trying to poke, but we're going to show him why not to do that. Or, well, maybe not. T-49 does find our side, though, because I poked up a little further than I maybe should have. This is a whole mess now, because our TDs have just run away from the positions that they should have been in. Bounce the prot. Can we shoot the ISU? Nope. But we do bounce him. But now I actually have to turn around because holy fuck, this team are being passive. And I can't stay here when people are being passive, when the base is being overrun. At least I can stay hull down when defending the base. But look at the numbers over there. VK, AMX, AMX, T10, T49, 1390. This is not going to be easy. But I need to leave these guys on this side because now that the enemy team have my cap circle, there's nothing much I can do other than go and defend. But you know, having TDs that actually do things would have been nice. Their TDs actually, you know, shot things. My TDs, not so much. Snapped the shot off at the 1390. Was very, very little chance of that actually hitting. Luckily for us, we're probably going to have good shots at the VK. And he's also stock turret. Unfortunately for us, this AMX wants to brawl. And of course he's firing full premium, but he's outnumbered. There you go, Sonny Boy Jim. Also, unfortunately for us, we've got the T10 there, but this is not going to be a good match at all. Luckily for us, the AMX is now dead, and we're going to get a good shot on the T10 here. We unfortunately we low roll, and now this is just a straight up loss. There is actually no coming back from this. Like. Oh, we high rolled on the T49 though. Would have been nice to high roll on literally anything else, but you know, life is hard. Because, you know, having TDs that are actually useful is actually pretty rare these days. Because generally they're just redline sniping morons who do absolutely nothing. So yeah, I'm actually gonna play one more match. Screw it. Like, come on. Just one match where I don't have a team that are, you know, like, why our TDs just didn't fall back to the, like, all they needed to do was just move back at the same time as each other. Which, you know, that's not difficult to realize. Like, you can just have a look at the minimap before you move and see where they're going, and then go to the hold down position on the ridge line on the 8-9 line to defend our spawn. But you know, that's apparently a really hard thing for people to do, instead of, you know, just sit exactly where you are waiting to die like our TDs did. So once again in the Patriot, of course, this is actually another good map for this tank. We can just go hold down like here, just kind of push up this way if we've got the numbers. Ideally, we should have our T10 coming this way as well. The T10's not a heavy tank. Up against things like a Tortoise and an ST1, it just falls apart, really. Especially where he's going. He's heading towards the city, which is a terrible place to take a T10 on this map. Really? Oh no, he's not. He's actually changed his mind. That's good. That's good, because then I've got a tank that has a really strong turret with me. What's awkward though is that our CDC has not come with us. He's trying to too much to play it like a light tank, and he's camping there, hoping to use the bushes to spot whoever goes like over here. But unfortunately for him, we've got light tanks already doing that. Unfortunately for me, however, all of our light tanks are just trying to spot from here, which means that the enemy light tank, hello, T-54 lightweight by the way, go fuck yourself, Panther 2. Hello, Lorraine. I would like it if I didn't get focused by everything, like, straight away, but, you know, again, life is hard. We've got the numbers so far here. Like, as long as we don't camp, we can deal with these guys. Bouncing off Lorraine's is a nice meme, though. We're gonna ram him. And the ram to finish him off. If we hadn't taken the arty hit, we would have been okay there. But we've got the momentum here. Unfortunately, our turret is going to be moving a little slow, but we can deal with that. That AT-15 is now not going to be very happy because, well, his tank isn't very good in the open like it is. And when there's a T10 shooting at you, well, I'm aiming for the machine gun port there, but, you know, the IS-3 got him there first. And as long as we keep this momentum up, we can just push straight through these guys and straight onto their base. We do have the T10 at full health, the IS-3 still on over 1,000, and yeah. And now that RU-251 is not feeling so good. And this Panther II is, well, yeah, there he goes. We didn't get the kill, but we did track him on the move, which is pretty neat. We're going to see if we can go around this way. We're just going to repair our turret, because we're going to need to reacquire targets pretty quickly here. Like this T-25 pilot. Hello, mate. I've actually got better DPM than him. It's pretty sad. There he goes. And now we're in a position to come around and help the people in the city. And the RU there is not looking too happy right now. There's the Scorpion G. Can we hit him? No. No, he's below the ridgeline. Ah, and the Tortoise is there. I was hoping he wouldn't be, but unfortunately for me, life is just a little bit hard at the moment. Because I've had a little bit more shot at me than the IS-3 has. Also, I'm not an IS-3, so, you know, there's that. I don't have the Russian bias on my side. I'm going to see if I can free up some of the people in the town, because they look like they're struggling a little bit. And the Tortoise is on half health, and there's probably more hit points to farm on this side than there is the other. So what am I hoping to shoot at here? The KV-4. Through and through. That's my main target. Although the ST-1 would be a good thing to kill as well. The Tortoise is still alive, but he's got no turret, so he's gonna cry every Tim. Thought the ST-1 had a good shot on me there. He did not. So we lost out on a little bit of damage there, but, you know, what can you do? These things happen. But now, what can this guy do? He's a big, slow, heavy tank with bad DPM, mediocre gun handling, and it's just him and a T-54 lightweight. And he's being tracked by a 1390. And sadly, the IS-3 just squished us against the building, so we didn't get the shot. At least we should have made some profit this match. Yes, we did. That's nice. And so that'll do it for this episode. Gone on a little bit longer than I'd hoped, but you know, I wanted to get a match where I actually made credits for the end one. Not the best match, because we did get a little bit focused over the T10, which is a nice meme. But, you know, XVM. Hard to play with it, really. Like, you gotta focus, like, 1.9 kW&8 over literally everything else. Like, this guy had a good game, because he didn't get shot as much as me. I was basically just going, okay, I'm getting shot more than this guy. So, you know, that's what happened. He was not playing, you know, slow either. He was going pretty ham. So was the IS-3, but neither of them got shot as much as me. And, you know, feels bad, man. But we survived. We got credits. It's all that matters in the end. Hope you guys enjoyed my trials and tribulations of grinding credits at tier 8 with the current matchmaking, because there is a lot of tier 10, I'm not gonna lie. In fact, if you want to see just how bad the matchmaking was for me over the last couple of days, you should be able to go onto my Twitch channel and have a look at some of the streams that I've got on there, because they'll still be up for a couple of days. In the past broadcast section, So if you want to go and see just how bad the matchmaking can be, and it is pretty bad at the moment, especially for tier 8s, then yeah, feel free. Anyway, guys, that's all from me this time. See you on the next one.